Good evening and welcome. Tonight we will be going over the history and geography of Castile, Leon in Spain. I don't think you can see. Spain is written down there. In Spain, you can see we're kind of technically in central Spain, but it's like about as north as you can get in central Spain. I would call this area northern Spain. This is where the Cantabrian Mountains are located. And there's many mountain ranges surrounding this region. You can see down here the Sierra de Corridos. I'm not good at Castilian Spanish, so my bad if I mispronounce anything too egregiously. But the center is very flat. It is a region of Spain known as the Meseta. We'll talk more about the Meseta tomorrow when we cover Castile-La Mancha, which is just over here. There's more Meseta over there. This is the Meseta Central, and it is the plains of Spain, right? Where the rain mainly stays. It's full of rivers, the most prominent, the most important being the Douro River, which flows right down the middle of the region into Portugal. And there are many major cities in Castile Leon. The capital is Valladolid, right there. We have Salamanca. We have, of course, Leon. Avila, we'll talk a little bit about in a second. There's Burgos up there, among many others. Zamora, Soria over there. There's quite a few. Central Spain, in these regions at least, is not very populated. The populated area is just over here in Madrid, which used to be part of the Kingdom of Castile. It's obviously been chopped up a bit. Population has really only been growing recently in the more city areas, not so much in the rural areas. So it's very large, but not extremely populated, not nearly as much as other parts of Spain. But a cool fact about Castile Leon is that it is tied with a region in Italy. I believe it's Tuscany, one of the regions of Italy, with the most UNESCO World Heritage sites. So let's get into that. Let me get the tablet and we'll take a look at those. And of course, we'll look at most of them, if not all of them, on Google Earth later in the video. So starting with two sites that we've already read about because they're located in multiple areas around mainly like Europe in this case. Starting with the ancient and primeval beech forests of the Carpathians and other regions of Europe. It says this transnational property includes 93 component parts in 18 countries. Since the end of the last ice age, European beech spread from a few isolated refuge areas in the Alps, Carpathians, Dinarides, I'm never sure, Mediterranean and Pyrenees, which is not nearby but close enough from our region tonight, over a short period of a few thousand years in a process that is still ongoing. The successful expansion across a whole continent is related to the tree's adaptability and tolerance of different climatic, geographical, and physical conditions. So I'll show you the forests in this area on Google Earth. I have it pinned for you, so we can't miss it. Because the pictures, I'm pretty sure, are not of Spain. They're probably in the Carpathians. And then we're going to read this one, because we've read about this before, the routes of the Santiago de Compostela, Camino Frances, and routes of northern Spain. A network of 4 Christian pilgrimage routes in northern Spain, the site is an extension of the route of Santiago de Compostela, a serial site inscribed on the World Heritage List in 1993. The extension represents a network of almost 1,500 kilometers, coastal interior of the Basque Country, La Rioja, Liébana, and primitive roots. It includes a built heritage of historical importance created to meet the needs of pilgrims, including cathedrals, churches, hospitals, hostels, and even bridges. The extension encompasses some of the earliest pilgrimage routes to Santiago de Compostela, following the discovery in the 9th century of a tomb believed to be that of Saint James the Greater. So let me show you where it runs through our region tonight. It goes through Burgos here and up through León. I don't think you'll be able to see. It's like way over here. Yeah, it's off screen. It's in Galicia over there, the actual town. But the pilgrimage route kind of forks in southern France and northern Spain, but it becomes very definitive in this area here, heading to Santiago de Compostela, which is really fun to say. All right, so sites that are exclusively in this region includes the archaeological site of Atapuerca. The caves of the Sierra de Atapuerca contain a rich fossil record of the earliest human beings in Europe, from nearly 1 million years ago and extending up to the Common Era. They represent an exceptional reserve of data, the scientific study of which provides priceless information about the appearance and the way of life of these remote human ancestors. So yeah, it's still ongoing digs in this area near Soria. Right? Soria or Burgos? Oh, it's Burgos, because there's a cool museum in Burgos tied to this site that I'm going to show you. And yeah, the oldest hominid fossils in Europe were found here. I believe they were Homo heidelbergensis, or are, because they're still being found. And it's pretty cool. The earliest hominids in Europe, even earlier than Neanderthals, probably. Old hominids. So yeah, isn't that wild? This is where the human story began in Europe that we know of. Then we have the prehistoric rock art sites in the Coa Valley and Ciega Verde. So the two prehistoric rock art sites in the Coa Valley in Portugal and Ciega Verde in Spain are located on the banks of the rivers Agueda and Coa, tributaries of the river Douro, documenting continuous human occupation from the end of the Paleolithic Age. Hundreds of panels with thousands of animal figures, our site has around 440, were carved over several millennia, representing the most remarkable open-air ensemble of Paleolithic art on the Iberian Peninsula. Coa Valley and Ciega Verde provide the best illustration of the iconographic themes and organization of Paleolithic rock art, and using the same modes of expression in caves and in the open air, thus contributing to a greater understanding of this artistic phenomenon. Together they form a unique site of the prehistoric era, rich in material evidence of Upper Paleolithic occupation. I think most of these photos are in Portugal, but the art style is very similar, and we'll look at this site in Spain on Google Earth. But it's pretty remarkable, all these shapes carved into the rock here, usually depicting animals, from what I've seen at least. Let's see. Oh, it's so hard to see in this photo. There's better pictures on Google Earth, I'll show you then. Next we have the old town of Avila, with its extramuros churches. Founded in the 11th century to protect the Spanish territories from the Moors, this city of saints and stones, the birthplace of Saint Teresa and the burial place of the Grand Inquisitor Torquemada, has kept its medieval austerity. This purity of form can still be seen in the Gothic cathedral and the fortifications which, with their 82 semicircular towers and 9 gates, are the most complete in Spain. So yeah, the town, oh no, Load. It's thinking real hard. You can do it. This town has really beautiful walls around it that don't look terribly old. They've been maintained very well. I wish I could show you, but Google Earth is thinking real hard. Or Google Earth UNESCO is thinking real hard about trying to show you the pictures. There we go. I'll just show you a couple. See, look at these. Amazing, amazing. The big towers there. And of course, we'll look more at it on Google Earth. But look at night. Ooh. It's just like a perfect medieval wall there. It's very great. And extramuros means outside the walls. But next we have Burgos Cathedral. Our Lady of Burgos was begun in the 13th century at the same time as the great cathedrals of the Ile-de-France, and was completed in the 15th and 16th centuries. The entire history of Gothic art is summed up in its superb architecture and its unique collection of works of art, including paintings, choir stalls, reredos, tombs, and stained glass windows. Let's see if this one will load. Only when I'm filming. Has no problem when I'm researching and reading these in advance. Not a problem at all. Only when I'm filming does it suddenly grind to a halt. But of course we'll look at this beautiful building on Google Earth as well. It's absolutely stunning. Okay, we won't let it struggle. It's okay. Next we have the old town of Segovia and its aqueduct. The Roman aqueduct of Segovia, probably built around the year 50 CE, is remarkably well preserved. This impressive construction, with its 2 tiers of arches, forms part of the setting of the magnificent historic city of Segovia. Other important monuments include the Alcazar, begun around the 11th century, and the 16th century Gothic cathedral. Will it load these pictures? It's taken its time. But absolutely beautiful. Segovia, of course, we'll look at that on Google Earth because the aqueduct is amazing. And the Alcazar, if you just picture medieval castle in your mind, that's exactly what it looks like. The pointy towers and everything. It's so perfect. I wonder if I can... Nope, it's all... No. Okay, we'll look at it later. Don't worry about the... Or no? Or maybe? Possibly? No, we won't let it struggle. Poor thing. Next we have the old city of Salamanca. This ancient university town northwest of Madrid was first conquered by the Carthaginians in the 3rd century BCE. It then became a Roman settlement before being ruled by the Moors until the 11th century. The university, one of the oldest in Europe, reached its high point during Salamanca's Golden Age. The city's historic center has important Romanesque, Gothic, Moorish, Renaissance, and Baroque monuments. The Plaza Mayor, with its galleries and arcades, is particularly impressive. There's a good shot there. Looks like a church, but I'm not sure if it's the university church or cathedral. Because it's all very beautiful. And lastly, we have Las Medulas. In the 1st century CE, the Roman imperial authorities began to exploit the gold deposits of this region in northwest Spain, using a technique based on hydraulic power. After 2 centuries of working the deposits, the Romans withdrew, leaving a devastated landscape. Since there was no subsequent industrial activity, the dramatic traces of this remarkable ancient technology are visible everywhere, as sheer faces in the mountainsides and the vast areas of tailings now used for agriculture. So yeah, these bare mountain peaks are from the Romans, who blasted it with water and would collect all the runoff and look for gold in it. Very interesting. These pictures, Only when I'm filming. I swear these websites go down only when I'm filming. That's so funny. I don't know why. But of course we'll look at that on Google Earth too, because that's pretty neat, I think. Sad for the environment, but pretty interesting that we have like just preserved evidence of their mining system. But let's talk some history. So yes, here's Burgos. So the mountains are just nearby. And that is where the first hominids in Europe have been found, dating from around 750,000 to 800,000 years ago. The first peoples who would have, built settlements and such here were the ancient Celts. And they built many different towns, most of which are cities today. Almost every major city. I'll talk about two that aren't. Pretty much just Burgos and Leon. We'll talk about their foundings. But the rest began as Celtic settlements. But there is one that didn't become a town, and that is Numantia. Or Numancia, like it says on there. I've read both. Which is right here, the Ruinas de Numancia. I think it's Numantia in English or Latin, and Numancia in Spanish. I think that's why it's different. So when the Romans invaded this area to conquer it, the Celtic peoples here put up quite a fight. And Numancia is the most famous one. The Romans sieged the town for a very long time, to the point where when the peoples inside gave up, they instead burnt down the entire town so that the Romans couldn't have it. And those are the ruins that we see here today. But the Romans really apparently just loved the Iberian Peninsula a lot and created a bunch of little settlements, little homes, little wineries and industries. They founded Leon. That's where this town came from. And like I said, or like UNESCO said, I suppose, we can find the famous aqueduct in Segovia. So I just forgot where Segovia is. I just forgot where Segovia is. It's somewhere down here. I'll find it. There's Medina del Campo. I'll find it. It's somewhere down here. But yeah, that aqueduct and the gold mining that we mentioned. They had a lot of industry here, but that was not to last. By the 5th century, the Visigoths would have come through, conquering this area, creating their own kingdoms and powers. But that was not to last, because in the 700s, the Moors, as they were known here, invaded from northern Africa, Islamic peoples from what's today like Morocco and Algeria, came through the Iberian Peninsula, conquering as they went to spread their religion and culture and establish their own kingdoms and such. They conquered almost the entire peninsula, going up to the north here. I guess the people who had been pushed out were all regrouping in the north and planned to take everything back. And many battles occurred in this region from that. Most of this middle area became a no man's land for a while, as both sides squared off. But I guess at this point we could say the Spanish would reconquer this area by sometime in the 9th century. It's different in different parts of the region. The Spanish built many different castles and fortifications. They founded the town of Burgos at this time in the year 884 as a defensive point. And the area became known as Castile because of all of the castles that were built to defend the land, to keep the Moors at bay, because they definitely came back and attacked multiple times, but were eventually unsuccessful as the Spanish would hold on to this area. New kingdoms would pop up, in particular the kingdom of Leon here in the north, and of course the kingdom of Castile, which would eventually merge in the year 1230 to form Castile Leon, when I guess the king that was crowned had one parent that ruled Castile and one parent that ruled Leon, so that king got both. And like I said, that included Madrid and most of Castile-La Mancha. Today, at least, wasn't called that then. In 1492, big year for Spain. A lot happened in Spain in 1492. But in regards to this region, the crown, who at that time was King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella, kicked out the entire Jewish population of Spain. Now, there were many, many Jewish people living in this area. Hello, loud car. They agree. There is a massive Jewish population. The Moors were very tolerant of other religions. There were Christians and Jews living in their areas. Of course, they would have preferred Islam, but they were tolerant. So many Jewish people would have fled persecution from other parts of Europe, like in France, to come to this area. But that tolerance was up by 1492, and they were booted out, unfortunately. There was a mass exodus out of Spain, spreading the Jewish diaspora even further around Europe, Africa, the Middle East. And pretty much the rest of the history here, because like I said, in terms of Spanish history, it gets relatively quiet here, because a lot happened throughout the rest of Spain. But there were many battles throughout the various wars that Spain experienced. The Napoleonic Wars in this area is known as the Peninsular War, because Napoleon came invading, conquering this region for almost a decade. Many battles fought in this region at that time. There was the Carlist Wars, mainly known as the War of Spanish Succession. Many battles fought in this region from that. And then, of course, we have the Spanish Civil War in the 1930s, where many areas, mainly the populated areas of Castile and Leon, were supportive of Franco and the rebels there. So they were, especially Burgos, were big rebel bases for Francisco Franco. So there was a lot of conflict there as well, and throughout Spain. It was a devastating time for Spain. And this place would be included in that. But that's pretty much the history that I've got for you. It wouldn't really grow industrially in the cities until the 1950s. And is, of course, all very modernized today, but still has that old world charm to it. It's very beautiful here. And, of course, there's tons of history throughout. But that was just, in a nutshell, the history of Castile and Leon. Tomorrow's video will talk about Castile-La Mancha. It'll be a bit of the same history. It will quite overlap, but there will be new UNESCO sites and new little tidbits. And of course, we got to talk about Don Quixote. But I deliberately, here's what I did. I briefly researched both regions, and then I deep dove into Castile and Leon. I've barely touched this region, so after I film this, I'm going to start deep diving into Castile-La Mancha. I'm filming this like a couple days before you're watching it, so I'll have time to research this so that you can watch it. Just so I don't mix up any facts, because I know a lot is going to overlap. I know a lot is very similar, so I don't know what history I'm going to mention in this area yet. I haven't scripted it. So, look forward to that. Hopefully it's has some different little facts for you. I don't know. But that is the history. I have so much to show you on Google Earth, so I think we should hop over there and check it out, don't you? Let's go. Here we are in Castile and Leon, and as you can see, I've pinned a bunch of places to show you because I don't want to spend 20 minutes trying to find them, because a lot of them aren't tagged. I had to search them up. But let's start by zooming out so you can see exactly where we are in the world. This is why I normally don't pin places, because they're like overwhelming when I zoom out. But I feel like everyone knows where Spain is, right? The Iberian Peninsula here, shared with Portugal in Western Europe. It's pretty easy to spot on the map. And you can see Northern Africa just a hop skipping away near Gibraltar. Now, from above, you can see the Meseta, right? You can see this area and then the big one down here with various mountains like surrounding it, creating this big plain, this big plateau, I suppose. Just right off the bat, I saw Tordesillas, which I didn't mention in history. The Treaty of Tordesillas was incredibly important in world history. It was here that the Spanish and the Portuguese signed a treaty after the New World was discovered by Spain and Portugal. And they decided to draw a line on what they knew of the world, about here or so, and they say Portugal can have this half and Spain can have this half, not realizing that this half included all of this area in South America and Central America and pretty much North America, and the Philippines too was included in their map, while the Portuguese pretty much just got Brazil, which, don't get me wrong, Brazil is huge, but they thought it was even at the time that they drew that treaty. So that's why Brazil speaks Portuguese, and most of South America and Central America speak Spanish because of the treaty signed right there in Tordesillas. Let's start here in Valladolid, the capital. I think we're just going to look at the main slideshow, which of course it's not popping up. Pew. There's my tummy, which only acts up while I'm recording. Oh, there's a scary statue there. I'm not sure what's happening there. But yeah, lots of neat art, lots of modern buildings. There's an old-timey picture there. The beautiful plaza, the beautiful churches, beautiful parks with the river flowing through. A big, bustling European city with the old and the new all alongside. I'm going for a swim there. I'm trying to think, was there anything specific I wanted to show you here? I guess we can look at the cathedral. It is very pretty, but I definitely want to focus more on the Cathedral of Burgos. You can see the big golden altar there. Definitely made with gold, stolen from people in South and Central America, taking their wares and melting it down to create this beauty, but it's still sad, isn't it? Oh, there's Cervantes' house. We'll talk about him in the next video, because his most famous book is Don Quixote, the Man of La Mancha. So, yeah, we'll talk about that in tomorrow's video. At least I plan on it. I don't know, because I haven't scripted it yet. I plan on it. It's definitely the first thing I think of when I think of La Mancha. You can see all the farmland out here. It's all pretty rural out here, with some little green spots here and there. Along the Douro River, there's a little lovely green spot. Old churches there. All very beautiful and natural. It's nice to have these little reserves. There's a dam there. Have those cool little signs pointing in every which way. Little hiking trails. There's still statues here. Very old. It looks like another old church, or maybe a castle. There's castles all over this place. You throw a rock and you hit a castle. That's why it's called Castile. We can look at Where do I know there's a castle? There's Segovia. I knew it was down there. Let's start. Well, we can look at Medina del Campo. They have a castle. Or two, I think, actually. If I'm not mistaken. I thought so, at least. There it is. Castillo de la Mota. I assume that means with the moat. Because, yeah, it's old-timey. Incredible medieval castles. You can see the moat right there. There's castles all over the place here. But if we go to Segovia, which I just lost again. Just there. Down here. A little further. This is my favorite. The Alcázar is the best castle. There's the aqueduct. There's my Tommy. You can see, oh, Segovia is in 3D. You can see the aqueduct in 3D. Look at that. As it loads. How incredible is that? It's snaking its way through town, providing water in Roman times. We have to see the Alcázar. It is my favorite castle because look at this. Like I said, just imagine a medieval castle. This is what you see, right? The big pointy towers, the big castle structure there in the middle, knights and suits of armor, the big countryside surrounding it, full of all the farmers who would have labored away. There's the thrones. Very medieval dining room here with fancy chairs and lots of art up there. I think those are statues, probably of all the previous kings and such. The beautiful garden, the big hedge maze, like it's perfect. The big ramparts, that's what they're called, right? The archers would shoot down. It's a perfect castle. It's exactly what I'd want in a medieval castle. All the stained glass. It's wonderful. Look at all the little detail too. It looks like it has scales. That's so pretty. Got the drawbridge there. It's perfect. I definitely want to visit this castle someday. But let's look at the aqueduct. Of course, now it's not going. There we go. It's pretty iconic. I feel like it's one of like top 3 most famous Roman aqueducts. For sure. It is remarkable that, because see, there's a person and there's the aqueduct. And they built this without cranes or construction, or it was just pure Roman engineering. Placing these rocks together just so to make the aqueduct. Absolutely amazing. And the fact that it's still standing. And it still snakes through town. It could probably still carry water. I don't think it does anymore. That's a nice photo there. There's the old town. A little gargoyle right there on the bridge. Oh, how pretty. Wow, decorated for Christmas there, the aqueduct. Pretty iconic. Yeah, let's follow it through the town. Can see it coming through here, then going this way. Is it still going? Yeah, look. Aqueduct, then it goes subterranean. That's pretty cool. It's amazing. That's so good. But yeah, I love the castle there. We can look at the walls of Avila. Have to remember, there it is. Let's see, you can definitely see the difference between the old town and the new, can't you? Just from above. Let's see, there's a few slideshows for the main wall. I mean, you can kind of see it right there. But let's find a slideshow for the wall. Here we go. And just like the Alcazar, it's iconic. It's perfect. It's exactly what you imagine when you think of medieval walls. It's so good. We already saw that. Beautiful. Look at that. I guess you could stand there and do some kind of visual activity. The narrow walkway there. It's perfect. Those are great walls. So that's a pretty sign of you. It's so good. It's so medieval. Oh, that's a great photo too. The sunset there. Pretty wonderful. And there's lots of pretty churches here and stuff, but yeah, I'm going to show you Burgos. That's my favorite church in this region. Let's just do that now. Then we'll head back to Salamanca. So, Burgos. There's the museum that we're going to look at. There's the cathedral. And it's one of those, like, picture a Gothic cathedral. Boom. It's also perfect. It's exactly the most ideal Gothic cathedral, in my opinion. Beautiful on the inside. All of the detail. It's so high. That big altar as well. This big, beautiful gate. All the little towers. It's like a castle. The main entrance here. All the little Gothic details, the stained glass, the arches. It's so perfect. This is a good shot. You can see all of these extreme details. That's why it takes like 200 years for these things to be built. Oh, pretty designs there in the windows. And wow, look at this. This is a tomb. It's stunning. This is my favorite cathedral in this region. Sorry to everyone else, but this kind of takes the cake. Look at this. It's almost magical. It's perfect. It looks like another tomb, maybe. The beautiful floors there. Lots of photos. Or I guess they're paintings. Various, I guess, religious people, bishops and what have you. Another tomb there. I wonder if that's Ferdinand and Isabella, because I know they're buried together, but I don't know where. That could be. All right, here's the Museum of Human Evolution. We're going to look at this one, though. To see some ancient hominids that have been found nearby. Let's see. Oh, there's a cool rhino. Some animals that would have roamed this area once upon a time. And these old skulls that have been found nearby. It's a big mammoth. That's amazing. A little depiction of what people would have looked like. There's a brain. Oh, goodness. But yeah, what life was like for the people here once upon a time. I don't think all these things are here. Some of these are moas. That's a dodo. That's a Tasmanian tiger. Just various animals that have gone extinct. There's some more. Cool. Woolly rhino. But yeah. Then I have the mountains, or I have the archaeological site tagged up here. It's a lot of different sites, but I picked my favorite one. You can definitely go through and look through them all in your own time. Because yeah, you can see the busy site. All of the archaeologists here very carefully digging away, digging down through these rocks, finding little bits of bone, little bits of teeth, little tools, whatever they can find, very carefully and diligently working away to uncover our human story here in these caves where our ancestors would have lived once upon a time. Really incredible, isn't it? UNESCO. There's my tummy again. I hope you can't hear my tummy. It's making all kinds of noises. Yeah, there's all kinds of cuevas, caves, and different sites. And more up there as well. Near Atapuerco, was that another one? Oh, monastery ruins. We're not going to look at that tonight. Let's just make our way around my tags, because I think that was all the things that... Oh no, I want to show you Leon real quick. Like all the things that I wanted to show you that I didn't feel like I needed to tag, because I knew where they are. I think I just want to show you the main slideshow here of Leon, because Leon, of course, meaning lion. And there's lots of lion statues around. Lots of beautiful old buildings and lots of statues. Ooh, that's a neat old building. There's another lion. There's a lion there. It looks like a pope or something riding away on his horse. Or some kind of religious figure. Maybe it's like Torquemada or something. I think there's one more lion in here. Or maybe not. There we go. Oh. Lots of lions in town. Obviously. But here you can really see that we're on the outskirts of these big mountains here. And the Picos de Europa just kind of peeks into Castile and Leon a little bit. I was hoping that slideshow would pop up, but it's not. Lots of other reserves are popping up, but I was hoping to show you Picos de Europa. See, there's the border there, so I don't want to go too far. I guess I'll show you this. So you can see the beautiful mountains here in the north of the region. I say region, it's called an autonomous community. I figure region is just easier to say, because all of the regions in Spain are autonomous. It's beautiful. Here, look at this. That's a painting. Like, that's not real. That is oil on canvas, surely. It's so pretty. Beautiful woods. Beautiful mountains and trees and cliffs, valleys and lakes. Oh, so gorgeous. That is beautiful. Definitely glaciation, or the result of glaciers retreating, creating these amazing shapes in the landscape. Alright, now let's go to, we did Atapuerca. We did no, we didn't. Numancia. So these are the ruins of what was once a Celtic town that they themselves burned down to keep it from the Romans. A bit of it's been restored. Looks like they built a monument here in more recent times. But yeah, you can see like where the roads were, where buildings were once upon a time. Really just like the base of each building is all that's left. A big well right there. Pretty neat sight. So look at the details in the door. It's very Celtic style. There's the interior. A little Triskelion right there. Definitely Celtic. A little watchtower. It's definitely reconstructed. Some kind of device there. Maybe a pottery wheel. But yeah. Once upon a time, that was a Celtic city. There's so much to show you. There's more caves and things, more ruins over there. Of course, as always, I highly, highly encourage you to explore this area for yourself and see what you can find. There's another natural park, I guess, Park Natural. For you to explore, it's all here. Here's the beech forest. You can see how green it is. Oh, we are just inside the borders here. So here is the beech forest, and it's so pretty. Beautiful autumn colors. Oh my gosh, look at all this. Absolute beauty. beech forests are very pretty. You get all of these beautiful colors. And then, of course, they're bright, vivid green. And these trees, like it was saying on UNESCO, they spread. They grow fast and quick and skinny. Oh, that's a neat photo there. This neat arched rock. Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah, usually beech trees, at least when I think of beech trees, I think if they're like white bark. That's the little mushrooms there growing on the moss. Big mushroom right there. And little ones, so cute. And I think of all their beautiful leaves and how they grow so close together. They are very clumped together. They're not spread out like redwoods, sequoias. They stick together. Let's see what's next. Oh, Salamanca. So I tagged the university because it was not popping up when I was researching. But the whole downtown area here is the UNESCO site. There's so many different sites, but I thought this was a good slideshow of the university. It says right there, established, because I didn't mention this in history, founded in 1218 by King Alfonso IX, the oldest university in the Hispanic world and the fourth oldest in the world in continuous operation. Pretty amazing. There's a big chapel. So I think it started as a religious school to become priests or what have you. And now it just teaches all kinds of sciences and regular subjects, but it looks like a museum. It's hard to believe that classes are, can you imagine having your class in this? Oh my gosh, it's incredible. It's basically like just going to school in an old museum, like an old church museum. It's so pretty. Oh, it's a beautiful room as well. Yeah, imagine having classes here. That is so neat. That would be a great place to learn. I feel like I'd be so attentive in a place like that. This cathedral is also really pretty. The Salamanca Cathedral. I think this is second place for me in beautiful churches. You look at like overwhelmingly beautiful. Like explosion of just like bam. Amazing architecture, amazing arches, amazing domes. Look at this. What is this? There's so much happening here. Just in your face of how beautiful it is. So neat. Also, a lot of these cathedrals were built over mosques that I'm sure that I don't want to say Moors because it feels so derogative, but that's what they called them here. That the Moors built probably on top of old, like Roman temples probably as well. I found a dolmen. If you've seen my videos, I go a little crazy for old rock sites. They're my favorite things. So I found a dolmen and I got all excited. It's not the best dolmen. I mean, we were just in Ireland, last week, looking at amazing rock sites. Megaliths, I should say, not just rocks. But I love them. Look at the stork. Yeah, these were stones that were put here by the ancients, right, stork? That's right. Not these, this is clearly recent, but these old beauties. For some reason, our ancestors wanted these rocks in a certain position, in a certain way. Look at all the stork nests. My goodness. For some purpose or another. Look at this. That one's great. So usually dolmens are tombs. But some of them we just will never know for sure. Let's see what else I tagged. There's the Roman site I mentioned, Las Medulas. Let's check it out. It's so neat because it looks almost natural. It looks like, I don't know, like termite hills or something, but these are the mountains and they are barren because of the Romans who would blast water. They'd carve holes in the rocks and blast water until all of the trees and such would fall down, and then they'd sift through what they could find. See, there's the big caves that they would use to tunnel water through. And then they would look for gold in the sludge that would come down from the mountains. You have this amazing landscape. It looks like something you'd see kind of like in Southeast Asia or something, like some amazing mountain crop. But this was all man-made, and you can go through the tunnels that they made to pump water through. You can see kind of growing back there a little bit on that site. Beautiful trees there. Little puffballs. Those are cute, maybe flowers. Ooh, there's an old witch tree. I wouldn't go near this tree. But yeah, it looks natural, but it's not. And I think that's why I think they're so fascinating, is that it looks like this is just some kind of weather event. Just like, some wind passed through for thousands of years and created it all windswept. But this was created by the Romans as they were mining for gold. It almost kind of has a mine appearance to it from above. Let's see, 3D. It's pretty neat, I think. Look at all the cliffs there. That's so interesting. All right, I think those were all the things I wanted to show you. There's obviously so much more to see. There's so many more castles, so many more natural sites. There's one over here. Some pretty lakes here. Oh, that's amazing. Look at this. I wonder if that's a little monastery or something on an island. That's pretty cool. Big sunflower farm there in the sunset. That's great. There's so much to see here. We could spend hours here looking through. Where's another place that I know has a castle? Arevalo. We didn't look at Arevalo. Just need it's on a peninsula. Castile de Arevalo. We'll finish here on this really cool medieval castle. There's castles everywhere. There's so many more. But we'll end it here. Thank you so much for watching. It's a classroom. Interesting. I bet it's part of the museum door. If you enjoyed this style of content, please consider subscribing because, like I said, tomorrow we're heading just down a ways past Madrid, going to Castile-La Mancha. So be sure to subscribe so you won't miss out. Look at that narrow stairway. Please, please, please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. I'd appreciate that very much. I hope that you found this video to be relaxing and educational. Not sure what's happening there. And I hope that you have a good night. Good night. Oh, wait. I skipped one. Real quick. Rock art. I knew I forgot one. Do you see the little horses there? There's a big horse. I skipped the rock art and I was ending the video. Darn. But I knew I was forgetting something. I think that's it for rock art. Okay, you saw it. Great. Good night. We're going to zoom it out.